right next to your side when you're feeling all better, okay?
Mommy?
So Josh, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks
you've
for
got a
having me.
film in this year's VIFF, Land of Happy Dreams.
Yes.
Can you tell us about your film?
So Land of Happy Dreams is about a single mother whose daughter has a rare blood disease, and she kind of has to go to unconventional means to facilitate getting the medical attention her daughter requires. So it's a little bit heavy. It's I kind of tried to play with a couple different things. One is, you know, if you see the film, I try to subvert expectations, like show people that, you know, when you see somebody out on the street looking or acting a certain way, you shouldn't immediately judge what's going on outside of, you know, inside their personal life, outside of what you're seeing from them. So it kind of plays with that a little bit, and just the overall, you know, sense of despair, like how far will a person go to, you know, keep their loved one alive, or whatever the case may be. You know, years ago I had a situation where I had to, you know, acquire medical care for somebody, and it made me think, like, you know, it'd be an interesting story to just see, like, how far will this go? Like, how far would somebody take that, you know?
Wow.
So, and in our story, she takes it pretty far. So.
And so was that where the inspiration for the story comes from, was from a personal experience of yours?
Yeah, so actually I'll tell you, it's kind of weird. Most people wouldn't get it from the movie, but it was actually a dog that I had. So it's about a mother and a child, but actually never had kids, and me and my wife have dogs. And years ago when we had just gotten married and we were both kind of, you know, starting our careers, but, you know, not making any money and kind of struggling paycheck to paycheck, we adopted this puppy, and after we'd had him for a few months, he got this disease called Addison's and required like $180 a month shot.
Wow.
And like, when you're not making any money, $180 is a lot of money. So we kind of, like, we're like, whatever, we'll do what we got to do. Like, we'll cut back on our groceries, or we'll start eating, you know, the cheap ground beef, or whatever you got to do. And so it kind of like planted in my brain, like, someday I want to tell a story about how far someone would go to meet those needs, you know, so.
I understand that you actually grew up and your father was a video store clerk.
Yeah, so my dad was like a part owner of a video store, and so he had this whole section, like he had the counter up front where you bring your movies, and then in the back half he had like this whole kids section. There's like all these stuffed animals and all the kids movies and stuff like that. And so like I was really young, and he would stick me there, and then he would go work, and he wouldn't pay attention to the fact that I got bored in there, and I would go over to the other side, and I would be watching like Jaws when I was 7, and like I watched like Full Metal Jacket like way before any child should ever be watching Full Metal Jacket. And I didn't really like, I don't know, like my mom always said, like people kind of give her crap. They're like, why'd you let your child watch these movies? And she's like, yeah, we probably shouldn't have, but she said that I've always kind of very easily deciphered fiction from reality. Like I knew at a very young age what was a movie, you know, like it's not like I thought like people were being murdered on TV or that a shark was eating people for real. Like, I mean, I knew that they did, but I could decipher that that was a film and that was made for entertainment and stuff like that, so.
So let's just say I'm a customer and I walk into the store, and you wanted to recommend Land of Happy Dreams. What kind of film would you say it is? Is it a film that's going to make me cry? Is it a film that's going to make me jump out of my seat?
Yeah, I hope it's a film that will make people kind of reflect upon their own lives. Like I said, most definitely, like, hopefully make people say, do I pass judgment too quickly? So it's definitely not, you know, popcorn entertainment. Like the whole point of it, and the point of most of the stuff I make right now is to just kind of like reflect on microcosms of people's lives and see if I can evoke an emotion from it. You know, I don't think it'll necessarily, I wasn't aiming for like people to cry, you know, or bawl. It's not like that hard driven emotion. I mean, obviously it's a sick child and you would hope that that drives evokes some sort of emotion, but I wasn't aiming for that. It's more just like personal self-reflection is what I'm going for, so.
Your Twitter profile, it's, if I'm not mistaken, chasing the dream because sitting at a desk sucks all day.
Yeah, which you probably shouldn't say because my day job probably reads that. It says, oh, so in essence, we suck.
Yeah,
but,
well,
yeah.
I'm curious, what would be your dream project if you could pick any, I guess, as a filmmaker? You know, you've got a big vision for something? That
Yeah, I mean, so I'm always like working on something. Like literally, I'm stupid. I do things back to back to back. I take no breaks. So while Land of Happy Dreams was playing at one festival, like 2 days after that festival, I was shooting another short and stuff like that. So I always have stuff like that I'm trying to keep moving or get in the works. But there is a feature that is about some stuff that happened to a circle of friends of mine back in the late 90s in Las Vegas in like the underground punk scene. So I've written a couple drafts of that, and that's the ideal, like that's the passion project. Like, you know, unfortunately it involves like a couple of them were killed, and that's kind of why we're telling the story, but that's the passion project. So.
And that would be your first feature?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Wow.
If I can get that made, that would be. If anybody's got any money, you know, I'm open.
Yeah.
I'll take money.
Do you feel like shorts have been kind of a good training ground for you to lead up to a bigger project?
Yeah, I mean shorts. I think even when I make, you know, even if I'm able to move into the feature realm, I still would love to continue making shorts. It's tough because there's no, especially in the U.S. where I'm at, there's no market for them. Like they don't really sell. You're not going to make any sort of return, and it is a labor of love. Everybody that's on set is doing it just because they love making movies. But there's just something to like trying to force yourself and to tell a complete and concise story in a short amount of time. And I think that's so beneficial to a feature, you know, because if you can't contain yourself in a short, if people sit and watch your short and say that felt long, like what are you going to do when you're making an hour and a half? You know, if that's, you need to kind of condition yourself and train yourself as to what can be left, you know, in the cutting room floor, I think, before you start messing with 90-minute films, you know.
Absolutely.
So.
Do you have any words of advice for maybe some other young emerging filmmakers, you know, that are kind of in that chasing the dream state still?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I've always told like my niece and my nephew and stuff like that is if you truly love something, like you better be willing to do it for free long enough until somebody recognizes you deserve to be paid for it. And I don't mean like everybody on crew deserves to be paid. I don't mean in that sense, but like if I go out, I do other crew work too. So if I'm out first ACing, like I hope to get paid. But if I'm doing my dream job, which is directing, right now I never expect to take a salary for directing when I'm doing these shorts. Like I don't write into the budget, pay for myself, because I'm reaching the pinnacle of my dream, and I'm going to continue to do it for free until it's recognized that I should be given the budget to produce it further. So that's what, you know, people take that wrong. They're like, oh, you know, you mean don't pay any, and that's not at all. Like everybody deserves to be paid, but if you have the opportunity to chase like the pinnacle of the dream, and it means making some sacrifices and working a second job to do it, then that's what I recommend.
You've
you
got
know?
to want it that bad.
Yeah. And the other thing is just always get on set. Like all the best connections I have right now are just from going on set and talking to people. Like know when it's appropriate. Like don't start walking over to the gaffer while he's trying to, you know, set something up and talk to him. But like I went on set as a PA and I talked to the production office assistant and I said, what's your ideal dream? And she said, I want to be casting. And 2 years later, we still work really closely together, and she's an associate at one of the largest casting firms in LA and gets me contact to amazing people. So it's just get on set and talk to people and network and you know, do a good job and be friendly and work hard, you know.
That's really valuable
stuff,
advice.
you know?
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today, Josh.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me.
Best of luck with the rest of the festival.
Thank you very much.